In this video, I'm going to share with you using vulnerability as a weapon, a tool in your toolkit of defense and also offense. If you have attempted to do anything significant in your life, in your business, in your career, you will come across counterforces, toxic people, and manipulative relationships where you need to have different types of tools to navigate these difficult situations that can ultimately, if you do not handle them well, can really hold you back or sabotage you to a great level. Hi, I'm Julia Cha. Changemakers, welcome back to my channel. If you are a woman, belong in a minority or oppressed group, and you face these counterforces, maybe you're having small disagreements at workplace, or you're having difficulty seeing eye to eye with a partner, or even something more significant and difficult, such as being in court with a very difficult toxic person, you need this video. If you are a person that belong in these oppressed groups, you will encounter more counterforces, especially if you're living your ambition, trying to create something great in your life, meaning you are leaving the expectations that society, culture, even your family has set up for you. When you have been conditioned to fight and fend for yourself all your life, your immediate automatic reaction is to fight back. Fighting back feels good in the moment. It feels like you're defending yourself and standing up for yourself, but it can have a negative short and long-term consequences that you don't want. You can use vulnerability to protect yourself, but also fending for yourself in a non-aggressive way. This strategy is what I call curated vulnerability, and understanding how to use this will not only help you refine your persuasion skills, but also to help you protect from manipulators that use vulnerability as a weapon against you. The purpose of it is to get them to see you as non-threatening and to get them to let their guard down when it comes to you. Also for you to figure out their game so that you never let your guard down. There are important points to consider when you're using vulnerability as a weapon or as an advantage. First of all, you must act helpless, but not be helpless. There's a big difference. I'll explain to you what that feels and looks like. It means that you must keep your cards very close to you. You mustn't tell anyone that this is the game that you're playing. You mustn't overshare. You mustn't give away information that can potentially come back and harm you. When you're playing vulnerable, people will tell you a lot of things, and that's where you gather the data. When you come across as non-threatening, people will see you as somebody that they can rely on. This is where you can observe the patterns of a dynamic that you're in. Basically, you're positioning yourself as a designated sober driver who observes the crazy dynamic that goes on in a party when people opt into being in the party, getting drunk, and getting mixed up in this mess. You are removing yourself. You're watching what are the cards that other people are revealing while you're holding yours very close. Second, acting as if you are less than what you actually are. If you're an accomplished person, or if you have a lot of wealth, that means you're gonna downplay that success. You're never ever going to let people know how truly successful or capable you are. And this may seem like a sabotage, but it isn't. It fulfills many different roles. People will not see you as an easy target with somebody who's carrying this treasure of opportunity, of wealth, of some kind of advantage or status that can get through you or from you. While you downplay your success, people will eventually figure out how competent and successful you are. When they figure that out for themselves, that's when you gain incredible power in their mind, and they're much less likely to come for you because now they wonder, what else have you not shared? This is how they become afraid of the mystery aspect of you. These entrepreneurs who are talking about how much money they're making and people who are showing off their wealth with all these designer logos and things like that, they're actually very stupid because they're becoming a target of manipulation, especially for those of you who are not white men who don't have that privilege. Now you may wonder, okay, so then how do I demonstrate my value? There's a difference between showing your competence, showing that you're a hard worker, like a typical immigrant, how they demonstrate their identity and their personality, their character. A very hard worker, somebody who is very ethical, but also somewhat vulnerable. That is the exact kind of character you want to paint so that you come across non-threatening. These entrepreneurs who are showing off their money, wearing logos and things like that, that is a different form of manipulation, which I'll say for another video. If you're a minority, if you're a woman, and you're doing that, you have to be prepared for the consequences, which are people who would attempt to take you down, or they will try to get something from you or through you. And the more you do, the more it gets out there, the more that you'll be attacked. People may want to sue you or talk negatively about you. You can't completely prevent this, but you can definitely minimize the effect by playing the vulnerable card. You demonstrating your value is separate from playing the vulnerable character. There are plenty of highly accomplished professionals who play that humbleness to the level of vulnerability. That's the perfect place where you want to be, where you appear competent, appear fairly self-assured, but there's a part of you that is far from perfect. Third is to use vulnerable excuses when you don't want to fulfill the request. I have seen many parents use this trick regardless of whether they meant to nice vulnerability or not. They'll say things like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, because I gotta provide for my kids, do all of these things for my kids, etc. And the next thing you know, they turn around, are doing everything they want and need. They have money and time for whatever they do want to do. And you must have met other friends or people that you've known during work environments too. You observe them do the exact same thing. That the excuses that they make is not that they don't want to do it or they don't agree with you. They make other excuses where they're helpless. They turn around, they have the resources to do whatever they want. People who you call vulnerable or covert narcissists also do the exact same thing. They bring up a lot of helplessness, that you feel sorry for them. It's humbleness to over the top type of vulnerability that they demonstrate to get away with things or to get their way. You must have observed that when you see it from these types of people, you can learn that. It's a skill because these people learned it as a coping survival skills. They're using it to navigate this world. And as long as you're not doing it automatically in a way that is not communication but manipulation, you're doing it strategically to navigate relationships that you're highly uncertain about, or relationships or situations that you've seen that there's a lot of toxicity around it already, such as if you're in a court system and you're a mother fighting the father of your child. And in a situation like this, if you want to get what you want, my best advice is not to go in there and command what you want. My best advice is that you go in there and play vulnerable. In these systems, you're much likely to get what you want when people feel sorry for you, because when they feel sorry for you, you are non-threatening. When you go in there commanding and acting what they call masculine and entitled, the counterforces can team up and sabotage you in every which way. Fourth is to use external forces as an excuse to fulfill your own desires, meaning you're going to talk about being in the best interest of your children, of your parents, of a partner, of some cause, rather than saying, I want this because I selfishly want to fulfill my own agenda, my own fulfillment, my own financial goals and dreams. When you use external forces as a reason why you want to achieve or to fight for a cause or something along those lines, you are much more likely to bypass the unconscious biases of people who can potentially turn against you, because nobody wants to see a woman or a mother, a minority, an LGBTQ plus community member to be selfishly fulfilling their needs. The fifth strategy is to ask for help rather than to command and demand. Even when you're speaking to somebody with less power than you, somebody who is a subordinate, or even your own children at times. What you don't want is for these people to team up against you in a tricky power dynamic situation and to side with your opponent. It doesn't matter how much individually you have more power than the people we're talking about. So let's talk about social media and say that you're an influencer and you're very famous, that each individual fan or follower is not going to be a threat. But when they all team up together, it becomes cancel culture. When they all team up together and they side with your opponent in a situation where you've got a disagreement going with, say, another influencer, now you are in for even a bigger threat when these people start teaming up with your opponent. You can take the exact same template, apply it to corporate culture, the dynamics in a corporate situation, in a toxic culture, and how that can potentially play out even if we're addressing people like your subordinates or somebody who you perceive as having less power than you. One of the greatest challenges of weaponizing and using vulnerability as a tool is that your own triggers and reactivity will get in the way. As I always say, managing those triggers is about progress and not perfection. Doing this work will give you the greatest advantage in owning your power and becoming powerful. If you'd like to do this work with me, please go down to the description link below and book a call so we can have a one-on-one conversation together. If you enjoyed this video, please do let us know. We'll be posting more videos like this. If you have specific questions on how to handle certain types of situations, we can also make a video response to those comments, so please comment away and we'll be happy to serve you. I'm Julia Cha. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you soon in my next video.